Hey, hey, Blue Table fans, Sean here. I'm going to tell you what I know about Dark Eldar and making a Dark Eldar army, as well as give some insightful and inspiring comments on the history of Dark Eldar, and also maybe some good insights on how to make your Dark Eldar army something special. Alright, so Dark Eldar were... I do believe the release of them was originally in something like 1999. I remember this because I own my game shop, and the basic set had Black Templars and Dark Eldar in it. And not everybody knows this, but I used to own a game store back in Oregon, where I would tell my lovely wife that I was going to work every day. So, in fact, she's sitting right here. Why don't you make a comment on that? There you go.
Going to work.
Did you work in quotes? Did you actually believe at that time that I was going down to the shop to work hard?
I knew you were going to the shop, but there was no work involved.
Did you think he's not going down there to work? He's not working down there.
Oh no, because when I would come down, you weren't working.
What was I doing?
You were messing around, playing, chit-chatting with people.
Well, but that is work. That's what a game store owner does.
I didn't see any money come through that place.
Oh, the money. Yeah, the margin was pretty thin.
No results.
I think I was paid like $2 an hour.
That's what demonstrates real work is results.
Really now?
Oh, yes.
All right, sounds good.
Results is what matters. If I have to work...
Yeah.
You're not working hard enough.
Ooh, awesome.
There you go.
All right, ladies, take a page. All right, so anyway, right, well, the jig is certainly up now. Okay, so let's take a look at HQs. Here's the new fine cast Dark Eldar Archon, an absolutely fantastic figure. Now, and he's got, I do believe this is a Husk Blade and something like a Tesseract Labyrinth, something. You know, I don't have the book in front of me, so come on, guys. I'm doing this from memory. And for those of you that, because people are critical of GW, and I'm just like, oh, come on. Maybe they don't remember this. Yeah, this little treasure with the giant mouth tongue, like, hanging out, and a mask on his... Yeah, my wife is like grimacing right now. So, and you know what's funny is in the 80s and 90s, this was Eldar. Eldar was a little like leopard skin fur-lined capes. You know, I couldn't find the picture that I wanted to find. It was of like these Eldar rockers, and they have like super high heels. So here you go. If anybody wonders where Eldar Harlequins come from, there you go. Yeah. That's what that is. Is that Motley Crue? Uh-huh. That looks like that guy.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Motley Crue.
There you go. Shout at the devil! What music are you listening to, young people? It's funny. It all seems so quaint now, you know. So anyway, I wonder what the kids are doing now that'll seem quaint in 20 years. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the Dark Eldar list. So Dark Eldar Archon, kind of a must include in your collection there, and he's great. He's great as an ally too. He's got an upgrade called a Shadow Field, which is a 2-up invuln that until you fail it, it just keeps going, and you can take on like 30 shots with that thing sometimes. Lilith Hesperax, which is a character model, but definitely I would just get this model just because it's cool. It's probably the closest GW comes to making a good female form, but still, yikes, you know. All right, let's move on. We'll never get through it at this rate. Urian Rakarth. So this is another model that's awesome. Like, you don't have to play these as the named characters. You can just have that. You can have this guy as a homunculus. Yeah, it's got like these blood leeches that follow him around. Ooh, so creepy. It's Hellraiser. So his name is Skinhead. Wait a minute, that doesn't work. All right, so now when you're making a Dark Eldar army, you can do a homunculus army of like beastmen and stuff like that, which I've done before. And so here's a regular homunculus. You kind of have to, he's floating along too. Ooh, they're so creepy. A little static on this one, a little bit flat, but they do come with lots of different arms, and you can always switch these guys. And they have all this weird alien weaponry. God, look at this fig. That's awesome. Come on. I mean, you really just need to get all these just to put in as whatever. Now, the Dark Eldar Court, which is the Lamian, the Slythe, the Medusa, they'll do weird stuff, but I haven't seen these really be awesomely competitive. Drazar, now look at, all these are new models, but Drazar actually harkens back to the old original range, and quite frankly, this guy's pretty cool. I think he's holding his own. You know, for the longest time, I thought he was like an Edward Scissorhands, like his hands were, you know, not there, and they were just these blades, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. But no, if you look closely, you can see hands on there. So, all right, so let's keep going. So now, if you're going to do a homunculus army, you need racks, and and these become troops choices if you have a homunculus in your army. And racks with Feel No Pain are just really, really good units. And I do believe that poison, again, I don't have my book with me, so I'm doing this all off the top of my head. I'm open to correction. Guys, just jump right on in and tell me if I made a mistake, and also, you know, whatever, if you have some insight. Sorry, I haven't had breakfast yet. Would you make me some breakfast?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're so sweet. See, isn't that great? So nice. I have such a good wife.
Yes, you do.
I'm married so well. And you know, it's funny. I've had 20 years to, like, kind of, like, it slowly dawns on me, like, oh, man, my wife is so awesome. What's going on?
Find your glasses.
She's fantastic. She did. This morning I couldn't find my glasses. So we just tore the place apart. And, yep, she found them. I knew it. I knew it.
That's why you woke me up at 7:30.
It's uterus as a tracking device.
That's right.
That's what it is. All right, grotesques. So you need a ton of these for if you're going to do a homunculus themed army, but they only publish like one thing. So, and a lot of people have done like different conversions. In fact, I want to show you just a few ways you can make conversions of these. First off, is you can go Isle of Blood, and of course you won't. You use the rat ogres from Isle of Blood. That's one conversion, and you can use bits, you know, to turn these into grotesque. I don't think this is the awesomest because they only come in 2 poses, and whoops, somehow I ended up on the Dark Eldar Archon again. So you only get 2 poses, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense with the ropes and the belts and stuff like that. One thing that really does work. And this is a lot harder, but if you can pull it off, it can be very inexpensive and a fantastic. So let's go to Miniature Market. A company I recommend, by the way. They're pretty stable. So let's look up Clone on Miniature Market. And so we end up with all these Star Trek things. But maybe, oh no, there's like pages. So let's try to search for Confrontation Clone. See if that gives me, yeah, no, that just gives these. And these actually, we made a bunch of racks out of these when there wasn't a published model. So yeah, hold on, let me just do a general search. In fact, I'm going to do it on a different page, just in case my safe search is off. Confrontation Clone. All right, hold on. Just look at this, and I'm going to see if I can find the thing that I'm looking for here. Okay. Yeah. So Confrontation made these clones. They're really hard to find. But this is generally what they look like. There you go. Isn't that awesome? So, they published some in like their 3rd incarnation that were like plastics. And I'm looking for those, and I'm really just not seeing them. But if you can find these plastics, they can be really cheap, and they make absolutely fantastic racks. In fact, this is what they look like. I can't find any, but this says Dark Eldar Aberration to me, so I say yes to that. Also, Confrontation is kind of like the Shining Motel of miniatures, where it's just anyone that takes it over is cursed. Okay, so let's keep going. So you know, you're going to want maybe 20 to 40 racks in that army, and you're going to want maybe 12 grotesques. I'm just throwing that off the top of my head. The Incubi is a it's a fine cast kit, and it's ridiculously awesome. These guys are great. For a long time, I actually recommended these as executioners for Dark Elves, but the rank up was really super tight on those once you got them on 20mm bases. Plus, Dark Elves are being, you know, republished right now. So, Mandrakes are kind of not awesome, but, you know, they make good RPG figures. You know, they'd make some really good drow something. Ooh, I'll have to use those for Ultimate D&D. Okay, so, Harlequin Troop, Death Jester, Shadow Seer. Alright, so now we're down to... Okay, so there's a couple ways to make a Dark Eldar army. First is a mixed army, where you just put in lots of different things, and that actually can work really well. But the thing that Dark Eldar have going for them, the things, are poisoned weapons, and the Kabbalite warriors have those. I think the witches have poison in close combat. I'm not sure. Maybe someone can tell me. So basically, you get 10 of these guys in a box. The kit's fantastic. Everything's great about these guys. They make my heart sing. And they got poison weapons. So Dark Eldar have going for them open top vehicles, super fast vehicles. New jet bike rules really favor them, and they have poisoned weapons. So that's how Dark Eldar win. They win by moving around really extremely fast, and they can just unload. Now, here's where I'm going to give you some insight. So in the Dark Eldar list, you've got Trueborn, which is a great entry. It's an Elite's entry, and they can have all this special weaponry. But there's no Trueborn kit. You just use these guys and maybe do extra fancy bits and bobs on them. But the problem is, a Trueborn squad can have 4 blasters. Let me just see if I can find a blaster. Okay, no, that's the spinner thing. I can't remember the shredder. But it only comes with 1 blaster. So that's not awesome when you want 4 per unit of Trueborn. And I mean, and heck, you can make 2 units of Trueborn out of Kabbalite warriors, so you'd actually need 8 blasters. So what you do is you cut this splinter rifle. In fact, hold on, is it this thing? Anyway, you cut one of these, and then you go over, and on your Raider, oh my gosh, I hope I'm telling you guys the right thing here. On the Raider sprue, let me see if I can even find it. There's a piece on here somewhere. It's like a jet engine piece. No, I don't think it's on that one. Is it on the Venom, I wonder? So anyway, what you can do is you can just turn that around and put it on the end of a splinter rifle, and it will make, I think it's this stuff down here. And it comes with extras of these, or for some reason it doesn't need it. I don't know. All I know is we have like a zillion of them in bits. Maybe it's the Venom that had it. So anyway, and then, so you have to make a blaster conversion. So again, the 3 lists, you can do the Homunculus list, you can make the mixed list, and you can also make, now the problem with the mixed list is if you go with beast packs and Homunculi and Chimera, which have like a 4-up invuln save, that's all awesome, but and it's very durable. It's kind of like a blob. I used to call my army of that creeping death, because it'd just be like you just shoot it, and then it would just kind of blob right over you. It's a little like Death Guard that way. And you mix in all the weird stuff the Homunculi have, and let me tell you, that army's a lot of fun to play. Because you can always switch it up. You can always change this bizarre alien weaponry they have to be something where your opponent's like, well, oh my gosh, what does that do? And so, by the way, any of you are welcome to make that your ringtone. Here, let me give you another sample. Alright, so that's these guys. So in a mixed army, you probably want to include a couple units of witches. Now, this is an example of GW not being awesome about the female form, because they all have the same bottoms here, so they're all pretty thin-waisted. They're probably elegantly waisted, too. Thank you. But chow, 80s reference. Okay, so yeah, you got blaster pistols. You got these cool masks, which, by the way, I love for Eldar Warlock jet bike conversion. I say yes to that. And so anyway, so you got the witches. Witches are great as kind of an ambush force. I like to keep them fat and in a raider. You just want to keep me fat. So you put 10 in a raider. 15 on foot isn't bad, and because they are pretty fast, and they can run interference. So the third type of army is called Venom Spam, and then the variation Raider Spam. I've also heard it called the Shiv, and I actually played this back in Valhalla 2012. I think it was early in 2012. Not sure. Maybe it was 2011. But yeah, in fact, it was 2011. Absolutely. So the Venom Spam list is something like this. You take an Archon. Maybe you take some other character, who cares? Maybe Homunculus for Feel No Pain, because he gives an extra pain token to whoever he's with. Pain tokens are a big deal. And you know, at Adepticon we saw a lot of Dark Eldar armies last year, and I still think they're good. The models are certainly awesome. Okay, so anyway, so you get your HQs, you get 3 units of Trueborn in Elites, all with max blasters. So you put 4 blasters. They can shoot right out of the open top here. And and you give them venom cannons top and bottom. So each raider with the Trueborn on it is zipping around delivering 4 blaster shots. And I do believe they're 24-inch range. And that's Strength 8 AP2. Again, I don't have the book in front of me, but blasters are awesome. And then 12 shots from venom cannons top and bottom. So great anti-infantry, great anti-tank, great anti-absolutely everything. And this kit comes with a ton of extra bits. Oh, and by the way, you get these extra crewmen. I do not put those on. I think it's too much. They're cool, but guess what? That gives you 2 free guys per Venom kit or per Raider kit. And these guys have awesome poses. They're very dynamic. You can, have them leaping over something. I mean, they look real ninja if you just switch them around. So oh boy, you may hear some sizzling in the background, and that's breakfast, folks. Man, I'm starving. It's almost 9 o'clock, and I've had it. Okay, so Raiders now. So what's happened is, it used to be Raiders have. How does this work? Raiders have Flicker Field standard, and cost a little more. But now, the Venoms didn't have Flicker Field. They had to buy it. So, but now you get Jink, which is a cover save. So it's anytime you move at all, you get a 5-up. So now the Raider Venom thing is not so clear, but I like Venoms because they look cool. So anyway, Venom Span is 3 Venoms in your Elites with Trueborn, 6 Venoms in your Core, so you have 9 Venoms, 12 shots each. That is, I do believe, 108 poison shots a turn, and with the speed on those, you can really get some good coverage. And I got to tell you, even though it's a glass hammer, even though it just crumples like paper, once somebody gets to grips with it, it is a fun army to play. Try Venom Spam. It's a load of fun, and it's tough to beat. It's really tough to beat. All right, so I'm just going to power through this because I think I'm over 20 minutes now. Oh, I'm just coming up on 20 minutes. So Reavers, do recommend a unit of 6 Reavers. You get heat lances on them, and they're a great suicide squad, and if they blow something up and live to tell the tale, all the better. I do believe you can put Haywire on them as well. Scourges, same thing. They got a good threat range, cool models. They do come with 2 bat wings and 3 feathered wings, so it's hard to make them all match up for obsessive compulsives like me. You've got the Beastmaster. Quite frankly, I would just convert one of these out of some Reavers, but he's okay. He's okay. And you definitely need this guy in your Creeping Death army. Clawed Fiend, there's ways to convert this. So it's a cool model, it's just they only make one of it, and, not that awesome. So the Beastmasters come with these different beasts. You can kind of mix and match them. Chimera, now, these guys are really good with allocation, where, you know, you have to wound the closest, because they have an invulnerable save from their whatever it is. Like they're kind of like halfway in the warp or whatever. They're like displacer beasts. Oh man, I would use so many of these in my D&D game. Razorwing Flock, that has some good things about it. Alright, so now we're to Razorwing Jet Fighter. This actually makes a great stand-in for a Void Raven Bomber, which I love. You get some implosion missiles on there. The implosion missiles require a wounds test, or the person's evaporated. So typically, even for like knob bikers and terminators and all this stuff, the implosion missiles make that unit go bye-bye. And so a Void Raven Bomber with 4 implosion missiles, even though they're like 30 points each just for the missile, it is so worth it. If you're having trouble with somebody that is, you know, knocking your teeth down with paladins, with knob bikers, with all these power units, God, there's one other that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. What is it? Thunderwolf Cavalry, even though those are a bit passé now. Get your Void Raven Bomber. Dark Eldar have great flexibility. So you've got this Parasite engine. By the way, the extra pieces from this Talos and stuff can make awesome conversions. You get a ton of extra pieces in here. You can make weird stuff for your Homunculi, you know, that whole thing. Yep, I hear the sizzling has stopped and the scraping of the pan has started, so I say yes. A Ravager is really just a raider with these heavy weapons. Some people swear by them. I just don't think they look as cool as the Void Raven and the Razorwing, so that's why I don't take them, but they are pretty cool. I always imagine them going jom, 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 like this anti-grav pulse as they go along. Dark Eldar make me happy. God, this makes me want to make a Dark Eldar army so bad. Alright, so my wife's laughing now because I'm so easily influenced. She's like, okay, great, here he goes again. Come on, guys. You know what it's like. So just a few plugs here. First off, if you want an army just done, you can contact our inquiries staff. There's an email in the liner notes as of this taping. That is projects@bluetablepainting.com. We got full-time guys on this. And if you're, so get a no-obligation quote, and if you're like, okay, well, that sounds good to me, but I'd have to split it up. You can split it up into payments. Even though we ask for half down, half on completion, approximately, you can split it up. You can make it into 4. You can make it into 6. You can say, you know what, I've looked at my budget, you know, I want you to scale this out to 12 weeks. I get paid every other week. So I'm going to divvy it up into 6 different payments, and you can have it the way that you want it. And so you can break this larger project down into much smaller pieces. And let's face it, it would take you probably longer than that just to paint it yourself. I mean, if you're barely making it to your game store once a week for 3 hours of fun, you don't want to spend that 3 hours painting. Unless you do. Listen, I'm not talking to you hobbyists that just love to paint. Because I always get it, but I love to paint my own models. Yes, I get it. I understand that. Yeah, now the other thing is, now here's my pitch, because my wife is standing right here, is, okay, listen up, guys. Every time you want to buy new models, and you go to the budget meeting, and you're like, hey, I want to spend $500 on new models, which seems like a lot, but let's face it, she just doesn't understand how important this is. And she's like, hey, why aren't you painting the stuff you already have? What about all that stuff out in the garage? See, guys, she doesn't understand like I do. So what you do is you go to our trade program. Again, check the liner notes for an email. Right now, it's store@bluetablepainting.com. So what you do is you trade in all that old stuff. And we even help you with the shipping too. So you just get a credit for that. So she's glad that all that stuff is out of there. And then plus you get a deal. Plus you say, hey, up on the store there's this new army, and I'm just going to give it some TLC and finish it off. So let me make the trade. And in fact, that's just it. You don't even ask that. You just do it. You've got the models. It's off budget. So that's what I got to say about that. We got an awesome commission program. We have an awesome trade-in program, and definitely worth looking into those. So hope you enjoyed looking at apparently this blank screen. Sorry about that. Hope you got some insights and had just a little bit of fun talking to me about Dark Eldar today.